varieties and prismatic splendor. Hear the flushed royalty of colours. I'm Alex Rigg. I've been making art for quite a long time. Something like 84 or something started making live work. 1984, that is. And Oceanallover is a company. It's had a number of different names. Sort of keeps changing what it is, and it's a collective really, because we don't have a solid administrative base except for me, and funding except for what we could find. And the work that I make is something to give to people. So I feel that art needs to be a gift. So I try and make work which contains something of what I want to say about things, but also it's an act of generosity. Kelburn Festival is a good place for it because, in comparison, for example, like performing on Sauchiehall Street. Glasgow actually is a pretty welcoming city, but you can get almost any kind of response, but sometimes you're really strictly not welcome, or you have to break through a barrier. No, but in Kelburn, in general, people are very open, and so here it's got that element of we don't know what we're looking at, but that doesn't matter. We can enjoy it off, or we can wander away. That's all right as well. You don't have to stay. So there's that kind of that's how art should be, really. It shouldn't be competitive. It shouldn't be judgmental in that. But it's very much personal. So what one person likes, they can have a discussion with somebody who loved it, somebody who hated it, and that's an interesting discussion. This project has quite a long history. It began work as a piece specifically about reptiles, so highlighting reptiles initially in the UK, and then sort of widening that, because generally speaking, reptiles get a very tough time. Snakes really get hammered for all kinds of reasons, religion and voodoo and whatever you like. But the fact is that their environment is shrinking rapidly. Their numbers are shrinking rapidly. So that was the first way into this. I was clearing out my polytunnel and I found a common lizard shedding his skin. So it's this concept as well that in order to grow, you have to get rid of your old skin. As I kind of began to write it, and tried to put it together, it became this really strong story about the flood. We said the Max Axcook, the great serpent, drowns the world in Algonquin mythology, and the Thunderbirds rescue everybody, not the little puppets, but the real ones. And the snake is banished to Bedminette Creek, not killed, just waiting until people misbehave against us. Interesting parallel with our own mythologies across the world and what's happening now. So thinking, okay, well, let's talk about that. Art is very much about context. So if you've got something in your hand, you take it, you look at it here, and then you take the same thing and you put it on your hand and you look at it in a desert, or we're standing on top of the multi-story car park and you have a look at it, and it's still the same beautiful thing, but as your focus broadens, it has different set of meaning, but it has a lot of different potential places. We performed in a world garden, and that context was really different. Different peripheral sounds like the sound systems, or people talking, or birds, or airplanes, and so the feast is not just what we're doing, it's the whole place. And so talk to a member of the audience sometime later who was here and saw us, and they may or may not have enjoyed the work, but the experience is not just us, it's the place. And so Kelburn offers something really unique. The headpiece that Breezy is wearing today is part of a collaboration I made with Mr. Pearl, who's a famous couturier. So we didn't have all of the pieces here, but some of the costume elements are collaboration with him. Some of them are, most of the rest of them are my own stuff. And then there's various other bits of collaboration, like with Kim, who's a textile designer. And then this thing was just like a wall hanging a fountain and charity shop in Hastings. Took me a few months to build up the courage to cut it off and make something else with it. So that in itself is a collective of other old pieces of clothing. It's one of responsibility, basically. Respect and responsibility. I'm not political. I'm not religious. I don't like to preach. So I just, within my own work, I discuss things that are important for me. And I hope that somewhere along the line, people will go, that's an interesting way of putting it, or I agree with that, or maybe we should think about that some more. And it's very specifically to do with looking after the world that we live in and each other. Very simple, but very hard. So.
To the north, the hills are already under night's hands, soft and cold. The willows snake. Light oozing between sky and land, slipping quietly into my eyes as I walk the banks of the river, feeling the air fill my ears and nose, the shy fluttering of leaves as willows bow their serpentine greeting, shaking in fear of my knife.
Painting and dancing, calypso, calypso, alone in the meadow, cutting stays, alone in the meadow with coppice and pollard, purple black nimbus consuming the sky. Reaping the ribs for a basket weave, plumwood handle curved like ears.
The willow basket. Above that, gas, under ropes and cloth of a balloon. For some moments, it seemed that my fate was not my own, and that I was a passenger, the journey unknowable and inscrutable. The night thickened around me. In my hand, the rope was twisted and cooled, coiled and sheared, a glass snake's tail, then shattered, a million pieces. Scales disembodied and falling upon